This game was made by Star Wars nerds for Star Wars nerds. The references are just too good to simply be another Star Wars or Lego game. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga was released 2022, developed by TT Games, and is a third-person shooter, collectathon, 3D platformer, open-world game following an abridged version of the Star Wars movies, without needing to spend 25 hours to watch them all. But that's not to say you won't spend over 25 hours playing Skywalker Saga. If you plan on trying to 100%, you're looking at a really big time sink, comparable to big box Bethesda and Ubisoft open world games. Don't want to spend that much time? You can just play through the story in several hours and call it good. This game does not overstay its welcome. So I say this is a Star Wars game made by Star Wars nerds for Star Wars nerds, because some of the humor just caught me completely by surprise. Never did I expect anyone in a game, conversation, or media to mention the enigma which is Yarael Poof, the Jedi on the Jedi Council in Episode 1. And you see him only once in the film. Now, don't get me wrong, this is Star Wars we're talking about, and if you go to Wikipedia, I'm old, now it's a fandom website, and you look up Yarael Poof, you'll see there's actually a lot about him both in canon and in Legends lore. Let me ask you this one question. Do you know who I'm even talking about right now? It's the balloon-headed Jedi. This guy! Is he famous? No! And only a deeper level of a fan would even know his name. Sorry, I'm on a tangent again. They had obscure references like that for deeper Star Wars nerds. They had references to Chewbacca never getting an award during the ceremony at the end of Episode 4. They had references to "Do it." They had just so much, I can't even articulate just what a pleasure it was to play through the story again. The story for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga follows the 9 main Star Wars films, as you would expect. You can jump in at any point, starting at either Episode 1, 4, or 7 and go forward. I decided to play in chronological order, rather than release order, which I prefer for movie nights. There is voice acting in the game, but you can make things classic and enable mumble mode for the good old slapstick LEGO humor without any of the distractions. But I decided to give the voice actors a chance, and I actually didn't mind the voice acting as much as I thought I would. That was the first question I asked about Skywalker Saga. Do they talk, or just mime all the stuff they needed to say? In typical LEGO fashion, after you finish playing through the story mode of a level, you unlock the free play mode. And there's an additional universe free play mode, which is truly open world, letting you walk around and switch between characters at will, and actually get around to getting that tasty 100% completion achievement. So for me, the big question is, okay, how is this Star Wars LEGO game different from the previous ones? I actually played the first one in the series, cleverly titled LEGO Star Wars, the video game, released in 2005, and I played it on the PlayStation 2. I skipped LEGO Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, from 2006 because, okay, you're not taking my money again just to play through the films as LEGO people. Although I did enjoy doing so, I have other games to play, and eventually they'll probably merge this game with the last one. After all, in the last game, they had a sample level from the next game, so ha! You've got one less level I care about. Additionally, I stopped buying games around that time and switched to playing PC games and MMORPGs, so maybe that's my real motivating factor here. Nevertheless, one Steam Christmas, a friend of mine bought me LEGO Star Wars. It fell apart. One Steam Christmas, a friend of mine bought me LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. This one was developed and released in 2007 and eventually brought to Steam in 2009. So I played that one, and I'll level with you, I don't really remember all that much about the game. I remember liking it, I remember being stuck on the last level, and really hating replaying levels to make that mad dash to get 10 hidden mini-kits. However, I played a solid 30 hours of that one. And then I didn't touch any Star Wars LEGO games. I didn't play LEGO Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars, released in 2011. I also definitely didn't play LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens, released in 2016. I had no intention of playing LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga as well. At a certain point, I became desensitized to seeing LEGO Star Wars games. While I didn't dislike them, I had other games to play, other stuff to do, and I assumed it was just a copy-paste job of the other LEGO Star Wars games. Cute, gesturing LEGO people acting out the Star Wars films, and tons of things to collect. To put the rest of my played LEGO games portfolio on view, I've played LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2 on the Switch, LEGO The Hobbit, and LEGO Worlds. All this talking to finally arrive at my next point. I've played a fair bit of Star Wars video games. I've played plenty of LEGO games. They've all been good, some of them have been better than others. Skywalker Saga is the best Star Wars LEGO game I've played. Best LEGO game I've played, and in many respects, I feel like I'm playing a Star Wars video game rather than a LEGO video game. If that makes any sense to you.
They got something in that tower we're stealing, I promise you. My window guy is never wrong.
I primarily played with a controller. However, I did test out the keyboard controls, for science, and those controls were actually very tight too. It didn't feel like a console port normally does, where the keyboard and mouse controls seem like an afterthought. I actually could have played through the game with a keyboard and mouse. Kudos to the developers. You'll love to see it. I also played through the story in split-screen mode through Steam Remote Play, and that experience was good too. Sometimes it gets a little bit rough when you're trying to instruct your fiancé to bring the astromech droid over to the wall socket, and the conversation plays out. Come here! Where? Here, by the wall! Then you turn and wait until R2 turns the long way around and trundles over to you. That being said, a few of the story missions actually split you up, and you need to work cooperatively to get to the end. And that's just really darn good game design. And you do the same thing as a single player, you just swap between the two teams, but when you're playing on co-op, you're one team and player 2 is the other team. That being said, for the final fight in Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, the game turned my fiancée into the final boss, and the power quite literally went to her head, and she laughed at me as she killed me about as ruthlessly as Dark Soul bosses would. She likes to remind me and tell other people about it, and now my family thinks she's better at video games than me. Naturally, this being a LEGO game, I need to add a note on all the things you can collect. Namely, studs, as the currency, Kyber bricks, which are used for purchasing upgrades for your characters. You can collect characters, starships, mini-kits, and mini-ships. There are challenges, trials, puzzles, and data cards. Data cards are the big ones that let you unlock the stud multiplier in the Extras tab. My personal strategy has always been to unlock the stud multipliers as early as possible, so that the currency is no longer a concern for the rest of the game. I highly recommend you do the same if you're going for 100% completion. Just resist the temptation to unlock more characters and ships for just a little while. Much like other LEGO games, there are different classes of character. Jedi, Hero, Scavenger, Scoundrel, Bounty Hunter, Villain, Darkside, Astromech Droid, and lastly, Protocol Droid. Each class has its own special interactions to solve puzzles. Additionally, each has its own upgrade section to improve them with Kyber bricks. After you finish the story mode of a level, you unlock the free play mode, where you have access to all of your collections of characters to solve puzzles in the levels or explore more and try to get 100% completed in that story level. After you finish the story mode for the game, then the real fun begins. You replay those episodes to collect all the things. You explore the galaxy to collect all the things. You collect all the things to have all the things. And then you wake up and go to work because you forgot you're a 30-year-old man who still needs to earn money to pay for food and rent. I actually experienced that sense of overwhelming from big open world games where there's just so much stuff to do, so much stuff to see that you kind of start to feel like shutting down. It's that first time out of the sewers in Elder Scrolls of Oblivion, or after you escape from the Imperial's execution in Skyrim, or your first time being set free on Assassin's Creed. But don't worry, that's actually why you need to play the story mode. You can't visit any new planets until you've unlocked them by playing through the story mode. At one point I picked up a mission to go to Yavin 4, but I hadn't yet been there because I was still playing the prequels at the time, so I couldn't actually complete the mission until I did that. Which brings me to the only real negative thing I have to say about the game. You cannot access the Scavenger class abilities until you play Star Wars Episode 7 and run around as Rey. I'm just saying it was pretty frustrating trying to get everything in an area, or even trying to get 100% on a level, and find out I can't actually unlock everything until I start the Star Wars sequels trilogy. Now part of that might be on me. I might have just put off playing the last 3 episodes because I didn't like those movies as much as the earlier movies. I made the choice to start in chronological order, no one forced me to, and had I just started with the new ones first, I would have never experienced this problem to begin with. But I ask you, why wasn't there a scavenger tutorial mission on any of the other levels? Why can't I just pull out the tool I need and use it without a tutorial? I'm a big boy, I can figure out things on my own. One more note of a sort of kinda negative about the game. Remember, this is still a kid's game. So sometimes when a character dies in the movie, they need to play it off as funny and silly and no one really dies, because again, this game is very child-friendly. It's just sometimes kinda jarring to watch a very emotional, sad moment in the film and then see something lighthearted happen instead. The most impactful was specifically at the end of Episode 7. You know the scene I'm talking about.
Okay, so that didn't work out.
LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga has so much stuff in it. I haven't even mentioned the DLC characters, speaking to the different NPCs for rumors, which are just hints, taking over capital ships, and there's even Steam achievements. And again, one of the better parts of the game is maybe this sounds like just way too much stuff and you'd rather have a simple gameplay experience. You can just play through the story mode and call her quits there. Or maybe you just get hooked like me and now need to play many more hours to try to get more of the things until hopefully getting all of the things. At its core, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is a rehashing of the Star Wars films but with a brand new coat of paint, and providing freedom to explore the world after you're finished. I think there's a little of something for everyone to enjoy in this game, for all ages, for people who just casually watch the films, and superfans, or people who know of Yariel Poof, for kids who like slapstick humor, and even adults. Hopefully this video has been helpful, or at least entertaining. I don't normally do a call to action stuff on my videos anymore, but as it is, here is your obligatory reminder. If you liked the video, you're welcome to subscribe. I've got a lot of lovely comments about how small my channel is and how it should be getting bigger. I really appreciate just how many people take the time to stop by my little corner of the internet, be it reading my Steam reviews, or tagging along for the slow growth of this YouTube channel. If you like this game, feel free to suggest other LEGO games I should check out, but I make no promises on actually getting around to playing them. I still need to finish getting stuff in this game. I should also start Twitch streaming again sometime. Ugh, so many projects, so little time. Anyway, I'm Atratzu, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.
You don't forget someone like that, but they forget you.
You need to get across the planet? I can get through it.
What's this? A message? For me? Oh, let's see what it says.